Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Jamey here. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I am a PhD in health psychology, and I have over 25 years in business experience. I hold an MBA. And today, what I want to do is I want to combine both of my educational backgrounds together because what I would really like to do is take a long, hard look at Vice President Harris's latest proposal on price gauging. Of course, she misspoke that, and the real word is price gouging, and I think that that's what she meant. Her teleprompter probably, was hard to see at the moment. But anyways, and the reason why is because apparently the best way to fix an economy and a health crisis is by making sure that people can't afford healthy food. But I'm not here just to poke fun, although there's plenty to laugh at. Yeah, I get it. But I'm here to show you why this well-intentioned but poorly thought out proposal is going to backfire, and it's going to backfire big time. And if you're part of the 42.4% of Americans who are obese, who are my primary clients, um, I've got some really bad news for you. So let's go ahead and start with the basics, and that is price gouging. And it sounds like something that we should all be against, right? But this is when companies hike up prices to ridiculous levels during a crisis. But here's the problem. Vice President Harris, as candidate for President Harris, what she's proposing is what I like to call diet communism. Now, that's kind of a weird term, but because nothing really says a healthy economy like a government kind of stepping in and telling businesses how they can charge for food. I mean, just look at how well this worked for Venezuela, where strict price controls really led to a widespread food shortage and ultimately a countrywide economic collapse. So, while Harris might think that she's saving us from greedy corporations, she's actually setting the stage for a disaster. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Dr. Jamey, isn't price gouging bad? Shouldn't we be stopping companies from taking advantage of us? And sure, it really sounds great on paper, but here's the twist. When you start messing with prices without understanding the full picture, you end up hurting the very people that you're trying to protect. This isn't just my opinion. History backs me up on this. Countries where the government has tried to control food prices, the result has often been a lack of food. Literally, people starve, not because there's no food, but because the supply chain collapses under the weight of these silly regulations. So let's take a quick detour to our old friends from the Soviet Union. Remember when they decided to control prices on food? It also led to shortages where it was so severe that people were queuing for hours and hours and hours just to get a loaf of bread. Fast forward to today, and you can see the same story playing out in places like Venezuela. Strict price controls were introduced, and what happened? Empty shelves and the thriving black market where food is sold at exorbitant prices. But hey, at least the government tried. Now, most of the time, that food is sold on the black market. So if you got some extra money and you need that, great. But what if you don't have extra money? And right now, our economy is really kind of struggling and suffering. A lot of people are hurting. But those people who need the best nutrition, my clients, the ones that I'm trying to help on a daily basis, obese clients do regain their health and learn how to lose weight. They need better nutrition, and they're the ones that are going to suffer the most. So what does all of this mean for most of us? Well, let's try to connect the dots. Harris's plan might sound like a great way to try to protect consumers. And reality is that she's doing this because she's running for a political office, the highest office in the country. And so she's trying to say things that make people like, oh, that sounds like a really good idea. I'm going to go for that. But in reality, it's going to push more people, especially the 42.4% of American adults who are already obese, towards cheaper processed foods. You know, the kind that's loaded with sugar and salt and all the good stuff that's making us fatter and sicker by the day. And who's going to profit from this? It's not you, it's not me, but it's the fast food and the processed food industries that thrive on keeping us hooked on junk. So let's dive into some numbers. The Centers for Disease Control, or the CDC, tells us that, again, 42.4% of Americans are obese. And that is classified as a disease. And it is now treatable by a lot of different insurance programs. So if you're obese, you have the disease of obesity. Same as if you have cancer, this is a disease. Okay. And guess what? Many people who are in the obese category rely on cheaper, calorie dense foods because the healthier options are just too expensive. Now, let's throw Harris's proposal into the mix. What happens when grocery stores are forced to keep prices low? Well, they cut corners. They stop stocking the expensive stuff, the fresh fruits, the lean meats, the whole grains, and what's left on the shelves? It is the cheap, processed, high calorie junk that's been driving our obesity epidemic for decades. Now, just imagine the irony. The policy designed to make food more affordable ends up making the healthiest food harder to find, if you can find it at all. We're looking at a scenario where salad becomes a luxury item, where the dollar menu at your favorite fast food gets a whole new prominent role in our diets. Because don't worry, those potato chips will still be affordable. Because what's better than government sponsored junk food, right? All right. So now let's talk about who's really going to get hit the hardest by this. It is low income families, many of who are already struggling with obesity, are going to feel this the most. So when their local stores can't make a profit on healthier foods, they stop stocking them. This is not rocket science. So if you're running a business and the government says that you can't make money on fresh produce, what do? You stop selling fresh produce. And what's left? Highly processed, cheap, unhealthy food that keeps people trapped in the cycle of obesity. So while Harris's proposal might look good on a campaign poster, in the real world, it's a disaster waiting to happen. Small local grocery stores, well, they're going to get crushed. They can't absorb the losses like the big chains can. And when they go under, what happens to the local community? Fewer choices, less access to healthy food, and more reliance on the fast food giants who can afford to keep their prices low. So it's a very vicious cycle, and it's one that's going to make America even fatter, sicker, and more miserable. So remember, when I said that price control leads to shortages, well, in the United States, this would manifest as a starvation of good nutrition. We're not talking about starving in the traditional sense, though that's always a possibility if things really get bad enough. But no, this is a tactic that is much sneakier. It's about the absence of vitamins and minerals and nutrients that keep our bodies functioning properly. And if you're sick, I mean, anything, you have any sickness, illness, and disease, you need proper nutrition for your body to repair itself, to heal itself. Well, when you have a diet that's high in processed foods and low in essential nutrients, this is going to lead to further metabolic syndrome and diabetes and heart disease, and the list goes on. And I have a link below from Political that goes into this topic a lot more detail. So check that out. And by the way, if you're liking this content, please like and subscribe and share this video to others. Help me get my brand new channel going on the Ideal Body Blueprint. Okay. So back to this. Who's going to profit here? There's always a money trail, right? And you can always see who's the most excited about this when you follow the money. Well, it's going to be the same industries that have been feeding us junk for decades. It's the fast food giants. It's the processed food manufacturers. They're going to be laughing all the way to the bank because they support this plan. They would love to have this because when fresh, healthy food becomes too expensive or too scarce and people are hungry, where are people going to turn? Well, they're going to go to the dollar menu, to the frozen pizza aisle, to the processed snacks that are cheap and convenient and guaranteed to get you to come back for more and more and more. So it's a win-win for them, but it's a lose-lose for the American people. You see, addressing the obesity epidemic requires more than just price controls. We need to tackle the root causes. Like why fresh, nutritious food isn't affordable or accessible to everyone. Harris's plan doesn't do that. Instead, it's a band aid over a bullet wound. It might be a good soundbite, but it's not going to solve the deeper problems. And what frustrates me as a health psychologist is very few of the political pundits or the campaigners are even talking about one of the other issues that are facing us, the other epidemic, which is obesity and the staggering cost of healthcare. So what's the takeaway? Well, if you want to see how price control really works. Just look at any communist country's history with food shortages and starvation. Harris's proposal, it's a sure way to starve America nutritionally. And in a country where 42.4% of adults are already obese, the last thing that we need is a policy that makes it even harder for us to access healthy food. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a PhD in health psychology with 25 years of an MBA in business experience. Who's seen this play out before? That's all. So if you found this video eye-opening, or even if you disagree with me, I would love to know your thoughts and share them in the comments below. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who need to hear the truth. And until next time, keep questioning, keep thinking, and most importantly, take care. Let the Ideal Body Blueprint design a blueprint for your health and longevity. We'll see you next time.